Well, hello and welcome to Cashing in the Northwest. As you know, this is the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 right here in the spooky Pacific Northwest. Each and every week, we'll talk about caches and cachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're trying to identify what candy corn really tastes like, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Tasty wheat?
I think it's tasty wheat. Yeah.
To me, it just tastes like eating plain sugar, and I don't like candy corn. It's just too sweet.
You're not alone in that one.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
You know, of course, candy corn's a little corny, if you ask me, says Keats.
And you are what you eat, so you would think I eat a lot of it, but I don't.
Just finding our way says, just say no to candy corn.
I have no problem saying no to candy corn. Mm-hmm. It's right there with white chocolate. They're both super sweet.
Oh, see, I'm a fan of white chocolate.
No, I don't like either one.
How about white chocolate candy corn? No. That would really be a win for you.
No. Dark chocolate, that's my preference. All right, well, hey. Happy almost Halloween. There's
very close, aren't we?
We are. We're very close. And there's no monkey tonight. So we might be even a little more quiet. I see a note that my audio is a little quiet, so I'm trying to boost myself up a little bit there.
Hopefully I think that scared the monkey away.
Yeah. Is the audio a little better there? I hope. We'll find out.
Now you're a little warmer.
I reconfigured my studio over the weekend and things got unplugged and replugged, so thanks for mentioning that. I pumped up the volume. Hopefully it's better now. Yeah.
You were on the quiet side.
It was? So now often you guys tell me I'm too loud.
Yeah.
So I've been potting it down. Now I'm potting it back up. All right.
Well, it's legal in the state.
So yeah, land monkey. I don't know. Maybe he's too scared to come up on a spooky Halloween Eve something. Halloween Adam.
There you go.
But hey, we're going to carry on without him. We've got our chat. It's Thursday night. Time to bring the internet to a screeching halt and talk about geocaching. But first, we would like to offer up a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who, well, they help to keep this podcast coming every week. Thursday night, Crash the Internet. We'd like to thank Landsharks, of course, our corporate Denali level sponsor. And there's a brand new product available from Landsharks online and in store. New Canadian cacher gear, handmade beaver face masks, and the geocaching guidebook. Check it out today at landsharks.ca. And if you want to know more about supporting the show, click the Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website.
Nicely done. Here's what I want to know. I want to know if the handmade beaver face masks are made out of real beaver.
Or made by beaver.
Oh, handmade by beavers.
Yes.
I like that.
2 beavers are better than 1, I've heard.
Hey, folks, it's that time of the show where we like to read about other people's caching adventures. It's time for the Glow. That's the geocaching log of the week. Whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. You can send an email or a field recording to feedback@cashingnw.com. You can call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a little voicemail right there and show us how you glow.
Oh, yes, we love to hear the glows. And this week's glow is from Dawners. So, Donner sent this in via email and said that she said some glows, so we may have more than one here. Excuse me.
She sent multiple in one email.
Okay. And she says that these two were part of a series called Tale of Two Caches, Least Favorite and Most Favorite. So the least favorite cache, GC2 Romeo X-Ray 0 Delta, it's now archived. But the description of the cache, she says this is important to read the description of the cache. The description of the cache, called Least Favorite Caches, says, this cache is horrible. I'm telling you straight up before you invest 1 minute on this cache. It is awful. In fact, there really is no puzzle here at all. After reading through this whole page, if you choose to go looking for this cache, I will be puzzled. As a cache owner, I enjoy reading logs of caches. As a geocacher, it can be challenging to remember that some loving cache owner is trying their best to provide you some entertainment. These cache owners spend their money buying cache containers, swag, and prizes. They spend their time hunting out a location, putting together a cache page, going through the review process, and all they get in return is a log entry from us, the Cache Finder. As I've read logs from some caches, I'd like to highlight a few noteworthy entries that geocachers have logged. Perhaps you can relate to some of these. I, too, have had occasion when I could have been more gracious, but below is a list of paraphrased log entries and my thoughts. Cords had me 5 meters away from where I found the cache. That's terrible that you had to search out a whole 5 meters. Get over it. The log is wet. The log is wet. The log is wet. Yeah, I got it. The log is wet. Grab an old receipt from your wallet, a napkin from lunch, and help a brother out. Unless the container is broken, no one is coming to fix it. Had to bushwhack through 40 meters of raspberry bushes to find this cache. Usually the edit to this log is that they found a trail within 2 meters as soon as they got to ground zero. Don't be lazy. There was debris all over the path. This should be at least a terrain 2. Nature happens. I'm sorry. If I knew you were coming, I'd have cleaned up the park a little better. That hint didn't make any sense to me. Wasted 30 minutes looking for this cache. The 50 people before you that figured it out? Maybe I should meet up with you, put the cache on a spoon, and feed it to you. Was looking for a regular size container. This is more like a small. This is subjective stuff, Princess. I apologize for having ruined your day, but I have a nano's amount of concern for your hardship. Terrain is no more than the 3. The cache practically called me by my name. It was so easy to spot where it's now located. You are amazing. Please take a free trade item. I hope one day to be able to find caches like you. Log is gross. Is black mold good for you? Some molds produce penicillin, the base for penicillin, so possibly. Okay, wow. Just had to get that rant out. I feel much better. Now, here's a chance for you to get your rant out. Please take out all your former caching frustrations in this cache's logs. As an added bonus, I'm going to give you fresh material to work with. Ground zero is soggy, uneven, nasty ground. The conditions for bugs to reproduce here are perfect. The cache is guarded by thorns, and the tree cover may have given iffy coordinate readings. The stink of skunk cabbage will fill your nose while you search, and your ears will be soothed by the humming of nearby power lines. The mud near ground zero stinks. All of this description is true. Please feel free to get all your comments out in the logs. There's no FTF prize, and that's because the FTF went to a friend who was with me at cache placement before the cache was published. There's no real reason why you shouldn't drop this cache on your ignore list right now. I can't think of one redemptive quality in this cache. My hope is that it be in your top 10 list of least favorite caches. You will not even get the satisfaction of solving a puzzle. Here are the coordinates. The font and color choices in this cache page should have caused eye strain by now. This cache is awful. That's quite the description.
That was quite the description, and you did it with a straight face all the way through.
That's the only face I've got.
Oh, so that's just your face. Sorry. Nicely well read.
But GC2 Romeo X-Ray 0 Delta is that least favorite caches, and my hunch would be that there's some pretty good log entries on that. So if you need some reading over the holiday weekend as you're waiting to hurl candy 12 meters to the children on the sidewalk with their open pillowcases, check it out.
I suggest a slingshot and some really hard to candy. The little round peppermint discs have pretty good aerodynamics to them.
I'm not coming by your house.
Okay.
Just saying.
Jolly Ranchers, not so much.
They are hard, but they're not as aerodynamic, yes.
Exactly. Hey, folks, we want you to join tonight's chat. If you use hashtag Tales in tonight's chat, you can tell us about your scary caching story. And of course, you can always use hashtag FATAS to bring something up in the after show.
Hmm.
You see how I did that without?
Very good.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do it as well.
Oh.
I rewired things. I don't have that anymore.
You're going to have to be a little patient with us because not only do we not have Land Monkey, we don't have a chat lackey.
No chat lackey. We're chat lackey-less.
It's like the old days. You know, back in the old days before there was color podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're almost semi-transparent in yours too, so.
I'm just a ghost of my former self.
I was waiting for that and just lobbed you that softball out there.
Thank you.
Well, we did have a few scary tales, spooky tales, and otherwise Halloween-worthy podcast tales. All queued up, but like Chris said, you got any more? Throw them in the chat. Tell us your story. We'd love to hear about them. Should we jump into one from Komakino?
Yes. He left a log on the cache page, and he sent it to us.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And by the way, we're lacking a lackey.
Yes. We're lackey-less.
Thank you, GSM times 2. Now, back to Komakino.
Komakino. The first story is a cautionary tale from Komakino. It's the log entry is GL12 Tango 2 Zulu Golf 6. And let me see what it says here. I have no idea what it is with my luck on trying to find a cache and have the neighbors that live near the cache get upset at me because of all the strange activity caused by prior cachers that have been to the area. Let me explain. We've all found these caches hidden in the cache owner's front yard. The cache owner places a cache on his front yard and has maybe even let his neighbors know of it and what kind of traffic it might bring in. Before attempting this cache, I had just found 2 caches that were hidden on the cache owner's front yards. It's Fangorn's Folly and Footy Baboody. They were just north of this one. And when I got to ground zero for your cache and parked in the open spot on the east side of the road, as prior caches have mentioned, to which I didn't read till after the incident with the neighbors, the GPS coordinates point to the east side of the road, and some of those caches have even searched on that side of the road along that neighbor's short fence. I saw that there were some geotrails leading up along their fence, and there's plenty of hint items along their fence as well. Being that I finished those 2 prior front yard caches before hitting this cache up, I thought it was the same type of a hide on someone's property. I could hear children playing in the backyard of that property, so I searched as fast as I could. I gave it a good search for a few minutes without finding anything and then headed to the other side of the street. Just as I finally saw where the cache was hidden, I heard someone yell at me from the other side of the street. "What the F are you doing?" I turned and saw some lady standing by the fence pointing at me with her phone in her hand. Again, she yelled at me, wondering what I was doing. "There's a geocache here and I was trying to find it," I answered just as a white car pulled up behind my car. I hope that's another cacher, I thought to myself. Nope. The person in that car was a lady that lived a couple houses up the street from the lady on the corner. She introduced herself to the screaming lady. She then turns to me and asks what I was doing there. I explained to her that there was a geocache near this spot and I was trying to find it. She acknowledged that she knew what geocaching was since I showed her the app screen on my phone. "Oh, I know of that game." And then explained to me that there have been a series of people, strangers, she called them. And then explained, that they've been doing weird things, maybe getting on that person's property to search, which has raised their suspicion to the point that they have almost called the cops on people. This is the second cache in 2 weeks in which a curious neighbor has approached me, wondering what the heck is going on in a violent manner like this. The screaming lady was insistent on calling the cops right then and there, but the white car lady talked her down. Screaming lady wasn't listening to anything I was saying and could have cared less, but white car lady at least knew what I was doing, but didn't like it any either. I told him I'd let the person that hid the cache know that the neighbors don't want the cache there at all, and it should be removed. I'm also going to let Groundspeak know about this because I don't want another cacher to go through what I went through. Moral of the story, the neighbors are cheesed. Cheesed.
I like Screaming Lady and White Car Lady. I think those are very, very good descriptions.
Yeah. I think I've met at least one or not both of those people.
Yeah. Kilmokino says it's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
And Wits End, you tell the story better than he does.
I don't know about that, but.
And GSM times 2 says Kilmokino is such a suspicious looking person. Frightening, in fact.
That I can vouch for. He's frightened me on occasion. No, he hasn't.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait to see that one on video.
Oh, probably somebody's Ring doorbell captured the whole thing.
Funny. Hey, we've got some
I see a
hashtag tales.
Oh, there you go.
This one's from Osfox, who I went for an FTF in an ocean tunnel in knee-deep water. When about 40 meters in, I was greeted by a small Port Jackson shark, which wasn't shy. With a splash, a shark moved on, thankfully.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know what a Port Jackson shark is.
I don't think I want to meet one, though.
It's a shark, and that's probably not good.
Yeah. It's a shark. Do. No.
Oh, it was a baby shark?
Could be. Mm-hmm. The best view of a shark, though, is it's swimming away from you, not towards you.
Yes, exactly.
There was also one from Keats there. Did you find that one?
I did.
Walked into a cave on Bowen Island with Zeppelin 94. At the end of one of the tunnels was a life-sized voodoo doll slumped in a chair. Scared the crap out of us. Behind it was the cache. If I remember right, I think Land Monkey told that story as well. That I heard it was like a culvert, but maybe it was a cave, and the mannequin or voodoo doll in the chair was just around the corner out of sight. Mm-hmm. So you didn't see it until you turned the corner and were like face to face with it. So
yeah. That's there are geocaches like that are designed to give you a start. You have to reach your hand into a hole and there's some fur in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always nuts.
It reminded me of a photo I saw on Reddit this week with this very miserable looking person. And the caption said something about, don't stick your head into a hole just to see what's in there. Yeah, his entire forehead was covered with porcupine quills.
Oh.
I think I know what was in there.
What? Honey?
There are fewer porcupine quills in the hole now than there were.
Okay. I've told the story many times, but, reached into a end of a guardrail and there was a hornet's nest in there.
Oh, yeah.
I only got stung on one finger, but it was enough and I was done for the day. Like, that's it. Done. I don't want to be here anymore. I found a somewhat frightening story from the forums. And the forums themselves are frightening.
They can be.
Yes. So this one was attempting to find the FFTE cache in Beaverton, Oregon. It was my first and probably last attempt at geocaching at night. It started out fine. It was a nice, clear night with a full moon and good signal strength. I got to the cache site and looked for the item in the clue. I looked all over and only saw a bunch of bottles and cans in the ivy and bush. After looking for about 20 minutes, I decided to take another fix on my GPS. When I reached in my pocket, to my horror, my Garmin was missing. I felt my heart sink into the pit of my stomach, trying to retrace my steps. I had looked both to the right and the left of the path going up the hill. I searched for about an hour. The whole time I figured I'd have to come back at dawn with a fine-tooth comb in the underbrush. About this time, matters got worse. My flashlight started to lose power. just before it went out, and I was feeling like sitting down and crying. Yes, real men do cry. At that time, the beam of the flashlight glinted off of something in a fern. I figured it was one of the bottles I had already found 5 or 6 times. To my relief, it was my GPS. Just as I picked it up, my flashlight went dead. The path back out of the brush and along the creek was a very narrow path. It was dark in the trees and hard to find my way. I can't tell you how much fun this walk back was. Luckily, the moon helped a little. I do not plan another night cache unless somebody wants to volunteer to accompany me. Chalk up this to a lesson learned.
Yeah, it's good to have backups. Or another saying I've heard is 2 is 1 and 1 is none.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that pretty much applies to flashlights.
Yeah. You know, I think just about everybody who listens to the show has been out into the woods a little too long, and it's, night falls upon them, and you realize how quickly it gets dark in the woods.
Into the woods we go again. Never mind.
It was a very good musical.
That was fun. All right. Well, speaking of creepy caches, and I think there's actually a tradition that some people try to go look for this specific creepy cache right about this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun little cache that the title of doesn't go over well in mixed company of muggles. It's called The Bloated Festering Head of My First Victim.
Yeah, or, police officers.
Yeah. Yeah, when we worked for that cache and you fell over a log, I thought I was going to have to call the 911 and say, yeah, I'm out with a friend looking for the bloated festering head of my first victim, and my friend's injured. If nothing else, I thought the response time would be epic.
And the response itself would be quite epic.
I'm sure, yeah. But the cool cow cachers found this and posted a log that says, at a recent event, we were discussing favorite caches in the area with the hosts, L&L kayakers. We've a particular fondness for most of the caches in DuPont, and of course, the bloated festering head of my first victim came up. Subman said he not only knew the way into the swamp, but had done it with dry feet and was willing to lead a group in. Well, of course, I couldn't leave it alone. With Beta on the route in and the possibility of an easy trip, I headed down to DuPont myself to check it out. While I did find a good access point, the path was closed about 100 feet in, making me question whether or not it was the correct way. That evening, I messaged Subman to take him up on his offer of guidance. A small party rapidly came together through Facebook, and 2 days later, we were on our way into the swamp. Dun, dun, dun. We need that sound effect one of these days.
I'll work on that.
Having recently completed GC1 Bravo Hotel Juliet Whiskey, my arms were still aching with the memory of a good 2-hour machete fest, and expecting nothing less here, my freshly honed blade came along once more. Terrible Tease and I met Subman at the prearranged location, and after waiting to see if anyone else would show up, made our way up the trail. Leaving the path at the spot I'd discovered 2 days before, we quickly came to the realization that there would be no path but the one we made for ourselves today. After about 10 minutes in, we heard voices behind us, and someone called out, "Are those geocachers in there?" Good Lord, I hope so. Who else would be so crazy as to trudge their way into this swamp? With the path somewhat cleared behind us, a short time later, Kettle Barb, Canine Biscuit, and 3 Amigos 74 managed to catch up to us. This approach to this cache deserves every bit of its 4-star terrain rating. We pushed and chopped our way through the foliage for an hour and a half. At times, the way ahead was clear, as in we could tell which way to go. Several times, we ran into a wall of brush and simply forced our way through in hopes that there was something better on the other side. Somehow, we made our way through and eventually found ourselves within 50 feet of our goal. Subman told us that when he was last here, he could see it from 20 feet away. Obviously, that wasn't going to be the case today. I slowly pushed my way the final few feet towards a small tree that seemed promising. Not seeing anything there, I turned around, and there, on a rotting old stump, were the Elidians' prize trophies. This cache is a classic of classics, and the voyage earns every bit of its fearsome reputation. I suppose I can't help but add a favorite point to the pile. Thank you, Swamp Thing, for this contribution to the geocaching community.
That is from Cool Cow Caches.
Yes, moo.
Moo. Fabulous cache.
Yes,
Really
that's a good
is
one.
Great location. I have talked to several people who have done this cache, tens of people, and not one of them have made it unscathed to the cache. I mean, no, I haven't heard of anybody walking in and staying dry the entire time, or not having to slog through, 2 feet of muck. There's rumors that there is a back way in and that it's an easy dry path, but
That's what I've heard, but
I don't believe it exists. Like rodents of unusual size, I don't believe they exist.
no, not at all. Let's see. How's our chat coming there?
The chat just keeps going along. We got one from Keats.
Yeah.
It says, a cop asked what I was doing. I explained geocaching to him. He knew what it was and then freaked out when I mentioned you have to sign a logbook. A logbook, he said. Yeah, man. You just told me you knew what geocaching was. Too much fun.
CRS 98 posted a link to a log that I posted in the chat there from a traditional cache of the hill. Do you want to look at that one? Is that one we
I've
want to
got
read?
that one up and ready to go.
Oh, cool. There you go for it.
He says, my first FTF. Wahoo, yippee, happy dance. And quite possibly my last FTF. Here's my story. I recently decided that I wanted to get an FTF. So this afternoon, I set up a notification for new cache listings. I work second shift in Tukwila, and the notification came in for a new cache. It's in Everett, and I'm not off for 2 hours. No chance. Tow truck Doug strikes again. I leave work at 12:30 a.m. and head north. I get off the freeway in Shoreline and do a park and grab. This is an addiction, Yeah. While I'm signing yet another log, another notification comes in. I put in the coordinates and I'm just 2.6 miles away. Could it be? I have no map. I'm just following the arrow on my GPSR. I approached ground zero from below and began frantically searching the area. I was just waiting for that tow truck to show up.
Mm-hmm.
After about 10 minutes of searching of all the logical places, I found the cache. Does your heart always beat like that on an FTF hunt? I signed the clean log sheet. Sorry about the blood. I did say I was searching frantically. And I took a travel bug, Rosie the robot. Also, I took the cross. It may have been my guardian angel tonight. After rehiding the cache, I started down the hill. I heard what sounded like an animal in the woods. Did I mention how dark it was in there? So I kind of ran down the hill. Near the bottom, I saw someone shining a flashlight at me. My first thought was the CO was here to congratulate me on the FTF. But it was a couple of Mount Lake Terrace finest police officers. He asked me to drop everything, put my hands on my head, and turn around. I told him I was geocaching, and he had never heard of it. The second officer showed up, and I was handcuffed. They ran my ID. I explained caching, and that the second officer on the scene knew what it was. They told me that they were watching the area because they had been having some problems. I guess seeing me run out of the woods at 1:15 in the morning with a flashlight, a stick, and Rosie the robot and a cross would have looked a bit suspicious. So to wrap it all up, my first day with email notifications, my first FTF hunt, my first FTF, and my first time in handcuffs. I think I just might leave this FTF stuff to tow truck Doug. Thank you, I think, for the exceptional hunt. It was nice to meet you and your family at the Cloud9 event. My first FTF, a night I will never forget.
That's memorable for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He added. I think he has found an FTF every month since then. So I don't think it would inspire me to go FTF hunting, but that's just me.
Too much.
Let's see.
Let's see. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say Doramore. Is that where you're heading?
No, I was going to go to land sharks.
Oh, I missed that one. Please do.
Oh, sorry. You have to look up a little higher over this one. Land Sharks says, we hosted a Halloween themed event, hiding and finding. I'm sorry. We hosted a Halloween themed cache hiding and finding event in October many years ago. One of our caches was orange, of course, and rigged up a tree. It was a night cache in a remote woodsy location. We called it Aren't You Glad You Found It? It was found many times and then DNF after DNF. And we went to check on it one evening and couldn't see anything reflective. We poked around the bush and suddenly we stumbled upon literally a deer that had died on our cache.
Oh, that's not good.
And that's all there. I mean, they go on with more words, but it got cut off. So they literally had a deer die on their cache.
That doesn't sound fun at all. I mean, especially for the deer. And hello, neighbor. I am. Yeah. That was my best Neighbor Wilson impression. Oh, let's see. Do we want to hit Doramore's here, or we're saving a special one, in case you had wondered?
Well, here we have one from Doramore.
There you go. That's what I was looking at.
Number 1. Nankikoro and I were caching in the North 40 Park in Delta, and it was taking longer than expected. It started to get dark. We heard coyotes, and then a sound we couldn't identify.
And she says it sounded like moaning. Then it turned to high-pitched screeching that came and went.
It turns out tree limbs rubbing against each other in the wind. But we didn't figure that out until we'd come up with lots of other possibilities first.
Yeah, it's amazing how different things can sound in the dark in a place you're not familiar with. It's amazing how much harder it is to maintain control of one's bladder in such situations. Theoretically speaking. There you go. Yes, and did you notice that GSM times 2 talked about some caches have a buck in them? That cache of land sharks had a buck on it. Yes. Okay.
I found the rest of that.
Oh,
story.
good.
It's just one more sentence. We're guessing that it hadn't been returned to its proper location, this reflective cache that's supposed to be up a tree.
Yeah.
And was definitely too high to get tangled in the wildlife.
Yeah. I don't think the deer was returned to its original place either.
No, and it's probably not the reason. But
no.
CRS 98.
Yeah.
A new Todd item. Extra pair of underwear.
There you go. I have, for a long time, kept an extra pair of socks in my go bag or in my car because things like the bloated festering head come to mind. I think my socks got wet there. I think a lot of things got wet there.
I got wet there.
You did, yes.
Yeah. After I gloated that you got in the muck and I didn't, and some unseen hand reached up and grabbed me and pulled me in the muck.
It happens.
That's what I'm saying.
It's almost as frightening as glowing eyes watching you deep in the woods at night, which are even scarier when those eyes are large and wide set. Thanks, Keats, for that one. I just may not sleep tonight.
Yeah. Things in the woods at night, it's just so much worse than things in the woods during the day, right?
Exactly.
Even though they're the same things.
Exactly. All right. Hey, well, I hinted we have a special one here. This one's from our missing land monkey. Couldn't be with us tonight, but He
Or maybe
put together he put together a bit of prose for us, a la a famous poem that you might be familiar with, and I will try my best to do it justice here. His poem reads, "Once upon a Chrome web browser, while I scrolled without any trousers over many obscure cache page, I think you know the score. While I slumped in my chair, suddenly I became aware of a listing I see right there, not found by any cashier before. 'Tis a trick," I muttered. "Someone's found this cache before. They've just not logged it, and nothing more." Deep into that emptiness peering, long I sat there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no cashier ever dared to dream before. But the logs still seemed empty, and the chances I deemed plenty, and the only logged entry was the reviewer saying it's ready once more. I roused my fingers to click it on a saved list and to store. Merely this, and nothing more. Yet with the longing to risk the chance, I went and found a pair of pants, and then my boots and phone and pencil and some more. I was determined to go find the geocache that was left behind, ever present in my mind, and dreaming that I would be the one to score by writing my name in that logbook as FTF right before anyone else who came seeking just one more. Through the darkening woods I slumped, into roots and rocks I bumped. Even with my headlamp the late October light was poor. I hoped to have just enough of batteries and safety stuff, and not end up in a huff on SAR Twitter accounts reported by North Shore. I'd hope for the best and expand my search some more. This madness drives me deeper evermore. Then I heard my hiking pole struck, something metal amidst the muck. That sound I knew, and then I was elated to make the score. I opened up that steely can and removed slowly with a trembling hand the log left by another man as my phone battery beeped %4. The log was empty, but I was unable to log my score, and my headlamp flickered in the darkness just once more. Now I am amongst the roots, and when I hear the sound of boots, my pale hand stretches out from the forest floor. No geocacher here will find the logbook that was left behind, only madness of another kind as they slip beneath the muddy shore, to reside within the haunted ammo can forevermore.
We can't say anything after that.
I can't sleep tonight.
GSM times 2 says this is brilliant. Very well written.
Yeah, we miss Land Monkey, but he left his mark here tonight anyway. So, yeah, in fact, ping him on social media and tell him you enjoyed that poem, in spite of my reading. No, it was good. He did a great
Your
job.
reading was spectacular.
Well, thanks. He made that available to us this morning and said, "Hey, you can use it if you want. Don't feel obligated." And I read it once and I thought, "Are you kidding me? This has to make the show. This is awesome."
So
Yeah.
very well done. Thank you, Land Monkey. And all of you now get to enjoy it.
Yeah. He does have a way with words. Komokino says that, and I agree.
Folks, we hope you enjoyed this somewhat spooky episode of Caching in the Northwest. We've got more great shows coming for you. And in fact, one of the shows coming up is something that was mentioned in the poem by Land Monkey.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm not going to tell you what that is, but you're going to have to think about it.
Okay. That's exciting. Yeah, you never know what's going to come up. You never know when hints are going to be dropped. Just pay attention. I would like to take a moment to thank, well, Land Sharks. You know, they're our corporate Denali level sponsor. Landsharks with a Z.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online, and they do ship online orders daily. Now, for those of you watching live tonight, check your inboxes for Landsharks newsletter. It went out earlier this evening. You will be the first to see a slew of new products for fall 2020. Finally, something good happening in 2020. If you're not receiving a newsletter, you can also find a link to sign up for that newsletter from their homepage.
That's right. Thank you, Land Sharks, and we want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters, of course, Land Sharks, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cashly. If you want to know more about supporting the show, on the webpage at cashingnw.com, there's a Patreon link. All you have to do is click it. You know, like Tick Magnet did.
And MC3 Cats.
And Trexer Zero.
M-Nerve.
And I got a message from M-Nerve. I hope he's recovering well.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing.
Just finding our way.
Kitty Quest.
Wet Coaster.
Kennel Barb.
Limax.
Green Words.
Sprouter.
Camp Clan.
Billy Robson.
LG 9000.
GSM ×2.
Broncos fan for life.
On a boat.
Log Work.
The Geo Travelers.
Fairwood West.
Genies.
You Talks to Rocks.
Keats 94.
Boomer 365.
Antaeus.
Alarubrick.
Wino Seattle.
Kev MacD.
Ackerdoc.
GeoNav Pros.
B Pendragon.
T Sayer.
CRS 98.
Kid Vegas 19.
Seebeck Tribe.
Subway Mark.
Team Noltex.
Doramore.
And of course, Segehove.
Of course. Thank you all. You're all awesome. We appreciate every one of you, and all of you listening, we appreciate you as well. To anybody else, if you're new here and you're still trying to figure out who's who, especially in audio, that's tough. He's Chris of the Northwest. I'll be pointing on the audio. That'll work well. I'm Wits End, and Land Monkey, I think, is out trick-or-treating tonight. But you can find us on social media, Geocaching Message Center. A good place to start, though, head over to the cachingNW.com/hosts webpage where you can find bios and contact information and yada, 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 that kind of stuff.
That's right. And if you go over to cachingNW.com, make sure to click the little link that says Name the Baby.
Oh, name the baby. That's an honor.
That's right. We've got the honor to give the geocaching name to the Wino Seattle baby.
Mm-hmm. And there's been some creative suggestions so far.
Yes, there has.
How's that contest working? What is it? How's it going to work?
Well, it's going to be in 2 parts. Okay, so we've got 2 weeks for the first part. Well, we've only got about a week left now. Head on over to cachingNW.com/namethebaby. Give us your best geocaching names for the baby. You know, the baby that falls to sleep listening to this podcast until we mention Boomer 365 and
right. That's the one.
Baby awake.
Yeah.
And from there, with the help of Wino Seattle, we'll pick the best names and then allow you to vote on those.
Yeah, I think Cashley McCashface has already been suggested.
That was my idea, Cashley McCashface. I thought that was a good one. So, you know, you can feel free to take it. Or not.
All right.
But folks, we thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget that you can be part of the show. You can call into 253-693-TFTC, leave us a comment, ask a question, or stop by a stranger's house and ask for candy any time of the day or night. Of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com, and your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, please click on the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Give us a thumbs up or review. The show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2020 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, we ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
Tiki the After Show. Oh,
Oh,
hey, we
I
have.
feel so much better now. The color is coming back.
Oh. Maybe it will for me too.
And I decorated.
Boomer 365 says, "Sorry, I wake the baby." No, not you, Boomer. We wake the baby. Oh.
Yeah. Another
Nice
fun
graphic.
tradition. Oh, thanks.
Oh, let's see. We got some fatasses.
There's lots of Atasas back there if we have to go back and find them.
We're going to have to. GSM ×2 wants to know, looking forward or dreading the time change?
I always dread the time change. I just think it's ridiculous that we keep doing it.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, don't forget to do that because you'll be out of sync with everybody else. But you just need to pick one or the other and just leave the clocks alone.
Oh, you think so?
Only a fool would cut a foot off the bottom of your blanket, sew it on the top of your blanket, and convince yourself the blanket's longer.
Oh, I feel better myself.
Yeah. You know, especially in the spring when we turn them forward. I've just sucked 1 hour of your life away. How does that make you feel?
Dora Morris or GSM times 2 anytime, or one more hour later sometimes. Hey, Brylang, is everyone having fun tonight? He must be doing like a Wang Chung reunion show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody Brylang tonight.
Ham says, I'm looking forward to stealing back that hour of sleep the calendar stole from me in the spring. Isn't it more of a borrow at that point?
No, it was outright theft.
Oh. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if we can come up with some other fatasses because we had a lot of reading tonight.
Well, I know there was some discussion before we even started and went live tonight about candy corn, and somebody did throw a fatasse out there that's linked to a YouTube link, History Channel, The Making of Candy Corn. I'm sure we can't show it for copyright reasons, but if you go and Google it, if you're really fascinated by how they make candy corn, like I said, I'm not a candy corn fan, but assembly line machinery does fascinate me, so go check it out if you get a chance. I'm looking to see lots of tails.
By the way, the handmade beaver fabric face masks are made by geocaching 2 Fidos right here in Victoria, BC. They're buffalo clad on the other side, so they're reversible.
Okay. There's one for you I found from Keats94. Great adventure labs await north of the border for that time when COVID goes bye-bye. And I know we all can't wait for that day.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I'm really impressed with the selection of lower mainland adventures. My find rate has shot up thanks to the adventure labs.
Nice.
I suppose I should do an adventure lab sometime.
I'll take you out and we'll do one.
I'll take you out. That's different.
It's almost what happened at the bloated festering head.
Yeah, I can take you
out.
Oh, well, on the topic of podcast baking, which I didn't see a whole lot tonight, although some, Iham said candy corn use from All Recipes website. So.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a easy Butterfinger candy something.
I do like Butterfingers.
Oh, yes. Okay, we have some more tales from the land sharks.
Ooh.
We have a gruesome Halloween. Wait, is this... Yeah, we have a gruesome Halloween. I had to see if it was the same one. Themed cache that's a long beach walk and hidden back deep dark in the woods, just above the high tide line. So it's never going to be accidentally stumbled upon. It's themed after all the severed feet in runners that have washed up on Pacific Northwest beaches over the past decade or two. I don't want to give too much away, but it's a high favorite point local cache.
Does sound creepy.
Ooh. There's a lot of things that wash up on the beach lately. You know, when tankers go over in the ocean.
Like the front fell off?
The front fell off.
Yes.
My son is on this thing with the rubber duckies. So a cargo ship went over and a full container of rubber duckies dumped into the ocean.
Okay.
And, you know, they popped up, and
as they would,
as rubber duckies tend to do. My son was like, the scientists absolutely loved this because they got to study ocean currents, because there's no way anybody would let them to, you know, put that many of anything in the ocean. But
true.
If it was an accident, now they can follow the rubber duckies and look at the ocean currents and see, like, that's actually genius. Let's use this and, you know, learn from it.
Sounds like a conspiracy theory to me.
Oh, okay. Why would they put the rubber duckies in the ocean? Oh, the scientists wanted to.
Yeah, they really wanted to, and they wouldn't let him. So yeah,
Mhm.
they sabotaged the ship just to do the rubber ducky tracking.
Ooh. Did they have little GPSs in the rubber duckies? Little GPS chips?
That might be a giveaway
Oh.
if they did.
And I wonder if all the rubber duckies lined up in a row. Because you got to get your duckies in a row.
You do have to get your ducks in a row.
Hold on. There it is. GSM times 2, and I thought the same way.
Yeah, and if it was a conspiracy, would it be Duckgate? Or we'll all click it all 3 times there.
Okay. Duckgate.
Yeah.
You know, that quacks me up. That's all Komakino. I'm not taking any credit for that one. Oh,
Moby Duck.
Moby Duck, a book written about the duck spill. I saw very early on that the I don't know who was doing the baking. Apparently, it's B Pendragon.
Okay.
Hashtag podcast baking didn't quite turn out, but it was still tasty. It was Japanese jiggly cheesecake. Is that what I saw?
Let's try that out. By the way, Komokino's bowing, taking credit for his puns. So.
As well, you should, Komakino.
Good job.
You've earned it. Okay, folks. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope this was somewhat fun. We do enjoy telling spooky stories every now and again. And join us next week. Until then, get out and get spooky caching in the Northwest.